What's up, guys? Welcome back to Clevver. As you can tell, I'm not alone today. I'm a lucky girl because I'm in the middle of a Degrassi sandwich. You guys like how I did that? So you guys are in town. First off, thanks for coming by. Our favorite friends from Canada joining us in the studio. You guys are here for an important reason. You're not here on vacation. You are here for the Emmys. Congrats. Does it ever get old? Because you guys are always nominated.
Yeah, no,
it's such an honor, I guess. Like, how can that ever get old?
That's
you have
impossible.
an Emmy nomination for the show that you spend all of your time doing. So I think, if anything, it kind of just puts us in check of why we do work so hard and why we do just kind of make Degrassi, which is like, because we get rewarded so well like that, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first year that I ever went to the Creative Arts Emmys and you guys were there. There were a ton of fans out at the event and they were all there only for Degrassi.
it's like the small huddle of people that like we all know. All of like the LA fans are like, we're definitely coming to the Emmys this year. And it's great to see them when they come out.
Testament to show their dedication and their passion for the show and show how we connect with them so well. And it's awesome to see them there and to see that support. It's phenomenal.
What would you guys say? I can only imagine there are probably so many wild stories because the show has such a huge fan base.
Don't get us
Okay, I
started.
feel like there's something here.
I usually don't have a good answer to this. You were saying craziest like fan experience, right?
Yes,
So we
please.
were just doing the parking lot finale for the last episode, and we're like doing the photo wall, and one of the people comes and like goes down on one knee to like the significant other, and we're all like, what's going on? She proposed right in the middle of the photo wall. There's actually a photo. I'm like, this captures the moment. Everyone's like, what's going on?
What did you say though?
I was like, congratulations, I want to be a part of this. Took the camera, I was like,
But they wanted you to be in that moment
They
with
did.
them, and that's such an important thing that I think that's the
insane.
best part. There's certain fans that we have relationships with.
Yeah.
We know them. They've watched us grow up just as much as we've watched them grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on the show for so long that I know them, and we know them by first name, and they come to every event. And it's kind of comforting for us to always go to new places and know people that we spend time either tweeting or seeing in person, or it's really cool.
Especially with social media, which you pointed out. I feel like there are certain Twitter handles, even on Clevver TV, that I'm like, oh my gosh, there's my friend Chris, or whatever.
That's a pretty generic Twitter handle name. Hey, Chris!
Yeah.
Never stolen.
Chris.
Chris has been on Twitter for a long time. Well, I'm excited that you guys are here because you haven't really talked about the season finale for season 13. So this is like an exclusive reaction straight from the cast. What were you guys most surprised by when you read the script?
all the chaos.
Yeah.
There was
Like,
so much
there's
going
certain
on.
episodes that we like read and we're like, okay, like this is cool. We tackle the storyline, and then there's some that we're like, more happens to us.
Yeah, turn
What are we
each
gonna
page.
do
It's like,
now?
what?
And that was one of those things where like, and then there's gonna be like rain, and there's gonna be like wind, and the school's gonna
And
break.
people are drunk, and then people are pregnant.
Yeah, at the end of all, like, Claire's pregnant.
Oh,
and
Well,
Yeah, that we're all reading that.
I
coming
remember
together,
now
like,
just
Like,
in the
what
read-through being like, okay, like, end of it, nothing more is gonna happen. Okay, Claire's pregnant. Understood.
And then it's the end of the show, and the
then-
credits roll, and it's like,
Yeah.
what's
in
gonna
back.
when
happen?
we read it, our mouth is like that too. We're like, what?
Yeah.
yeah.
We look at Aislinn and she's like,
There's an actual video of our last
Yes,
read-through and our reactions to that.
It's such a cliffhanger in such a Degrassi way. It's like when you think they can go so far, they take that one more step.
Oh, always.
And
Such crazy.
like even us all like being on the show, you think like, okay, we get used to it, like all kinds of drama always happens, but like I think I speak for everyone when it was like nobody saw that coming. That came out of nowhere.
It's crazy, and I always love hearing the stories. I mean, as a viewer watching a show, you're really taking in all the drama, but I feel like there's always funny stories of things that happen during scenes. So was there any cool stories from behind the scenes? Because it's specifically that scene where you're like laying in the bed and your feet are on opposite sides. We're like, that doesn't seem like a good idea. Wouldn't that be smelly feet action?
Yes, and I fell off. Yeah, one take I fell off. Like I was trying to get on, and then I guess.
Like do a sexy move. And
Yeah, I was just trying to suck. Like sexy, just get in there, and then I just totally like toppled over. It didn't work at all.
I think the problem is, it's not a problem. It's actually quite a blessing, but all of us hang out on the show just as much as we do off the show. And we hang out on weekends, after work, before work. We are extending our trips in LA. Like, we only really have to be here for a few days, but we're like, gotta go for 2 weeks. We have to work for 2 weeks. And I think from that, when we're on set, the chemistry is so real that we have to like play friends, but we also are to the point where they're like, okay, we have to work and do the scene,
professional.
and like we
Stop
just have
laughing.
laugh attacks, and it's like, you know, in that case, there is always so much going on in the middle of filming.
Well, since you guys are such close friends, I feel like we need to get some secrets. So, if all of you could
Longer
just
to get ready than
What do you
I
want to
do.
know?
What do you
We
need to
spend
know?
enough
I'm an
time
open book.
together.
So, what is something that we wouldn't know about you guys? Like, do any of you have hidden talents that you'd like to showcase
An
right now?
acrobat? No, I'm not an acrobat.
Luke has 20 toes.
No, for real, I'll show you.
There are some people on YouTube that would be oddly into that. I'm just throwing it out there. Well, it's true, believe me. The internet's a dark place. Well, let's talk about season 14. You guys have already shot a big chunk of it. There has to be a lot of aftermath based on the season 13 finale. So,
Yeah,
what can you share?
the whole kind of school is in shambles, and no one really knows what's happening. Like the actual school gets
Literally
destroyed.
in shambles.
So I think that's like you kind of leave the end of season 13 with everyone looks like they're a chicken with their head cut off, and that's kind of how we pick up. And everyone's relationships are kind of not really stable, but it's Degrassi, and everyone wants to be together, but kind of can't. But there's a lot of roller coasters.
It's a good time to see because it's such a chaotic time for everybody that all the supports and who's there for who, and you'll be kind of surprised of who's helping out certain relationships and whose relationships either develop from things or kind of fizz out from things. And especially with Ali, she's helping clearly her best friend who's just got the news that she's pregnant. I think that would kind of stir up her life and have to kind of be the support for that. So I think there's a lot of really funny things that happen there. Of course, with any picture two friends in high school, one becomes pregnant. I think that's just something on its own, but it was pretty fun because I was like, man, this is a lot of work. Like, I couldn't imagine if my real life best friend ever got pregnant in high school, I wouldn't want to be
Yeah, that must be hard for the friend.
Yeah. What about me? Think about me. You got pregnant. So brutal.
Wow. How's Eli going to feel about all of this? I'm probably
It's gonna
interested.
Yeah, it was gonna be interesting because right now I think a lot of the fans they're kind of
Maybe.
well, he doesn't. Obviously, he doesn't know, and also we know that Drew and Claire.
Yeah, Luke and Claire.
Luke and Claire.
Right.
I'm a part of this.
That's why I'm sitting between you guys.
Well, we're gonna see what happens. It's gonna be. It's fun for us because we never got to work together because our storylines were so separated on the show. So now you're gonna see them interact, and you're gonna see them kind of battle over because we don't know who the father is.
It's like a Maury Povich episode.
I was just gonna say.
You are not the father.
It's just gonna be Snake. It's gonna be Principal Simpson. It's me, Snake.
I love it.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens, and I think it's gonna be interesting. I think there's a lot of past and future about this season, so you're gonna see people's past catching up with them, and you see how that works out.
Uh-oh.
And
What are
you're
you
gonna
talking about?
I saw that sideways glance.
No, it was not. It was a tick. I had a little neck thing going on there. It hurt. And thank you for bringing it. No, and then you see people's futures and with the pregnancies and other people's lives. It's a very past and future season, which is great.
But that brings up an interesting point with you guys being able to work together more. Is there something? I mean, so much has happened on the show in 14 seasons now, but is there something that if you could sit down with the writers and be like, I got an idea, what would you say?
This whole storyline coming together, like we always wanted to work together, but we always kind of thought of like it would be like a fight between us or something.
Yeah.
But like the way that they wrote it, us kind of like being enemies and like that whole triangle was really interesting. I never honestly thought it was going to be through Claire, but I think everyone's going to have the same answer. If we were to make one crazy storyline, it would probably end with all of us dying.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Wow,
I want to
dark.
kill you all. I want to
How do I
murdered. How do I say this?
The
I want-
apocalypse. I
We're
think
just
that's
all
all of
dead.
your
I think it's
I'm speaking for Drew here. He's crazy.
Grenades.
I've always wanted Claire and Ali to have a romance. Aislinn and I have always joked about that throughout the years because everybody has a lesbian experience, and Ali has not. She's gone through all the boys, this one. So I think it's she's thinking that it's clearly not working out for her. And Aislinn and I were like, you know what? Maybe this season it'll be it. So stay tuned. You never know. But
For Zoe, at least, she's got the writers have thrown so much at her, and I've been fortunate to have gone to dance on the show, sing on the show. Now this season, in season 14, Zoe takes up a new extracurricular activity.
Ooh,
She
is
tries
it
to
something
be-
in the arts?
It's athletic. she takes up cheerleading.
Oh.
She's trying to get back on top, being Queen Bee. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, that's a good way in. But I love what you brought up about the relationship. I just am obsessed with the whole shipper thing in general on all shows.
I never
Ship
understood
names,
that
like,
for like the longest time.
We're
Eclair, I
Drally.
was like,
There's just so many shippers. Each of you.
Who do we
You can
ship?
be honest.
Oh,
Your
gosh.
secret shipper situation.
I've got some ships that I like.
Titanic was great.
Sailboats, I love them all. God, I don't know. There's so many like different combinations of people, and especially because I like know the cast.
You know the cast?
Right.
How do you know the cast of Degrassi?
No, I don't.
I personally ship Eclair. I'm a huge Eclair shipper. Love it. Love Bandalis. And
Vandalis? That's the name?
that's the thing.
Vandalis.
That's the ship.
What was our thingamajig called?
Drally.
Drally. That never sounded properly.
No. And there's a bunch of like Instagram accounts like I love
Yeah.
Drally, and I'm always
Like,
like,
that was
that
not a
sounds
thing.
horrible.
What is that?
So what about trials?
Trials.
Expect more from trials in season 14. We got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
They got close at the end there, so I think you can expect some trials action.
Yeah, that's an interesting storyline that's kind of like built throughout like the whole season, and I think the fans are really going to be impressed like the way it kind of turns out.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that just goes away. You know.
It's not going to be like, oh.
And Miles is such a question mark, which is great because I don't think a lot of people didn't see that coming, and so for a character to make that kind of switch when they didn't expect it is great. And so you're going to see Miles do a couple really cool things this season, especially Tristan as well. They both are.
Awesome, you guys. Well, thanks for coming by. And you guys out there, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to stick with us right here at Clevver for tons of scoop from the Emmys and, of course, on all things Degrassi. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
For more fun and funny, click here to see Nina Dobrev and the cast of Supernatural. Tell us if they'd rather wiggle, 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 or turn down for what? And don't forget to subscribe.